Please help me welcome Sean Paulson.
Thank you guys very, very much for having me here today. I'm honored to be here, be able to speak to you. Scott did a pretty good job actually doing the whole talk. So, thank you guys. I'm out of here. No, he covered quite a bit of it, but that's cool. I enjoyed that because then it's easier for me to expound on what's going on in my life. Before I get started, KSL News actually did a story on me not too long ago. Maybe some of you have seen that. But I want to show you that first because that actually gives me a better introduction than I can actually give myself. So we're actually going to start with this KSL News story. So go ahead and it's only a couple minutes long. We'll watch this and then we'll get started. Beautiful. Thank you guys very much for coming out here and hanging out with me on a Friday night. How y'all doing?
Sean Paulson spends an evening joking
You
around.
were raised in Utah, so I understand how your math skills work. So it's okay.
Your dad likes to joke.
Yes, always.
Humor is extremely important to me. Your entire body will go loose and limp.
And hypnotizing people. But here's the punchline. This hypnotist
That was cool.
is blind.
Are you sure he's blind?
Yes, I have seen him walk into my front door.
A little bit blind or a lot blind?
I'm most 90% of my vision is gone.
Please say hi, I'm blind.
You like that? Well, everybody walks up to me, nobody says anything, and then I'm like,
Paulson's life is now an open book,
remember it was written by a blind guy, so it kind of looks like a big blur to me.
titled, Why Not Me?
Why not me? I'm just as human as everybody else.
You know, you're doing really good.
I'm doing good right now.
You're not too.
I know, everybody worries about me.
He writes about how he transitioned from a police
I
officer
was a police officer for 10 years.
to a comedian to a hypnotist. And then 3 years ago,
My eyesight started to fail in my left eye.
how some things started to go
I
wrong.
have to blow it up and see just like one little section of it at a time. In 6 weeks, I had lost 90% of my vision.
He was diagnosed with a rare condition.
Mitochondrial encephalomyopathy, lactic acidosis, and stroke-like episodes. 3 years ago, I was diagnosed with a terminal illness.
Progressive and fatal.
Boy, that shut y'all up, didn't it? It affects my eyes, affects my hearing, mostly the left side of my body like a stroke would.
Life he thought was finished.
It was over.
Until it wasn't. He figured out how to mow his lawn.
I said, Mom, look, I cut my lawn. First thing she says to me, she looks at me, well, you missed a whole stripe right there. You missed a whole spot. Come here, what?
He figured out how to hunt
Here you go. Good shot. Come on, dude.
and fish.
Okay, right here, on this side?
Left side.
On the left side, bowling. We went bowling and miniature golf the other night.
81.
81!
And he figured out how to be a blind hypnotist.
Feels like a meat locker in here. It's 30 degrees.
You don't find too many blind hypnotists.
I don't know of any other ones.
There was a time when he really thought he was going to give it up, and all of us rallied together and said, no, we will make this work.
If you look around up here on stage, most people don't even notice it. There's a lot of orange throughout this room right now.
You take the floor,
We did.
you take the chairs.
So if you look down on your wrist, you either have an orange or a pink wristband.
Wristbands on you?
For whatever reason, because of this disease, that is the one color that I can see. How old are we? How old is everybody? You're 7? That's how I know how to get around in here. My life now is, what do I do with what I have? This is life. This is what it is. Hey, it's okay, just a minute.
And Sean Paulson changed his act
There you go.
for
Do
his
you mind having a blind guy watching your kids?
I
Hey,
don't.
go settle down.
youngest fans,
My grandkids would come over and I just realized I need to be here, for them.
so they could see him try new things
As it comes. Yep. Keep going. That's what you do.
and
And
tell
they will say something and they'll say, well, I didn't see it.
a few jokes.
So I'll just start yelling out Marco, and everybody will yell Polo. My comedy is my way of trying to put people at ease so that they know that it is okay. And it's okay to laugh about it. It's okay to talk about it. I have actually driven. It was kind of fun. Scared the out of everybody else, but it was great for me. It's okay. It's all right. High five!
So his grandkids could see him,
I go hunting, fishing, camping.
even with a terminal illness.
I'm going to grab all that sadness, all that fear, everything. I'm going to grab, pull it out. I'm going to throw it away. Have fun. Live life. If plans don't go the way they should be, make new plans.
Heroes of KSL,
Thank you. Good night.
5 years.
All right. Like I said, that'll introduce me better than I can introduce myself. My name is Sean Paulson. I have a PhD. I am an internationally published author, speaker, and entertainer. Recently, my book was chosen to be internationally published. That's a great honor for me. It's a great honor for any author. About 1 in every couple of million books get published internationally. It has to be chosen. It's not something that we can solicit. It's not something that we can try and get there. They choose us. And I was notified about 2 months ago that my book was picked up for international publishing. It'll take about 18 months to actually translate it into foreign languages, and then it will be actually global, worldwide, instead of just the United States. So I'm very honored that they chose my book. So. I have a genetic disorder, as it said. The genetic disorder is known as MELOS, mitochondrial encephalomyopathy, lactic acidosis, and stroke-like episodes. If you know anything about genetic disorders or about medical terminology, the longer it is, generally the worse it gets, right? So the longer this becomes, the worse things happen. There are a lot of things that come along with this. Let's break it down very quickly. Mitochondrial is basically your DNA. It's the DNA that creates energy for you, right? So it's a genetic disorder. It is in my DNA, or my DNA, not GNA. It is in my DNA, all right? Encephalomyopathy. Encephalo is brain. I have a hard time at times, and it does bother me because I spent several tens of thousands of dollars to get my PhD, and I've forgotten most of it, because it does affect my memory. It affects words. It affects all kinds of stuff. People can come to me today and say, oh, do you remember that fishing trip? And they can show me a picture, and here we are standing there with a bunch of fish, and I have zero recollection of it. That's me in that picture. But I have no idea. I can't remember a single thing about it. That's part of this disorder. Myopathy means muscle weakness. It affects the left side of my body. That's where the stroke-like episodes come in. It affects the left side of my body, so I have muscle weakness. So I have what's called a cardiomyopathy, meaning that my heart, first of all, is on the left side of my body, so it gets affected. Second, most people's hearts are about the size of a closed fist. Mine's the size of my open hand. If you take an x-ray of my chest, my heart touches my rib cage on the left side, and it passes my sternum on the right. So it collapses one part of my left lung. So I also have breathing issues because my heart collapses that part of my lung. So you would think, oh wow, a bigger heart. That means more blood, right? Everybody says, everybody knew you had a big heart. No, I don't. I'm a jerk. I don't have a big heart. I got a big heart, but I don't know how to use it. The biggest thing about it is that the myocardium, the actual muscle walls of the heart, are actually growing thicker as well. So the heart grows bigger, the myocardium grows thicker, meaning that the atriums and ventricles that pump the blood are getting smaller. So my heart works twice as hard to pump half the blood that my body needs. Actually, it's just over half. I'm at 65% right now. It's called the ejection fraction. How much blood does my heart pump? 65% of my body's need. If I bent down right now and stood back up, I would pass out because all the blood would rush down to my feet and I would pass out. Because I don't have enough blood in my body, so that's part of it. Lactic acidosis. If any of you work out, run, lift, do any of those kind of things, anytime you do extraneous activity and those muscles burn, you get that burning feeling, that's lactic acid building up in your muscles. Lactic acidosis means that my body does not process that back out. It stays in the muscles. So that burning feeling that you feel, I feel for days and sometimes weeks at a time. It doesn't go away. It's 24/7. It's there all the time. My body does not process that back out. Okay? Stroke-like episodes, pretty simple. It looks like I've had a stroke. If you pay attention and you watch, I actually talk out of one side of my mouth because of all the stroke-like episodes that I've had. It has affected the side of my face. It's affected my left arm, my left leg. I will drag my leg. Every once in a while I'll start limping because it affects my left leg. I call it, where's my money walk? That's what that is. Where's my money walk? And I start limping because my leg doesn't want to work, or my arm doesn't want to work. All right? So that's kind of a brief description of the major symptoms that go with me. I get heart attacks on a daily basis, quite honestly. And I have strokes, and I have memory loss, and I have muscle weakness. I have all of those things. The biggest part of this, what started all of this, was that last loss of eyesight. I lost 90% of my vision in a 6-week period of time. Think about that for a second. Most people with vision loss, they either have lost completely when they were born or over some accident, or they have a period of time. Most disorders that cause vision loss take years for the vision to go away. They have a time to adjust. I had 6 weeks. I literally watched things in front of me disappear. As I was looking at something one moment, gone the next. Watching my eyesight just go away. Watched it happen. It is an absolutely just devastating feeling. There's nothing you can do about it. I also have hearing loss. 50% of my hearing, same thing, 6-week period of time. I lost 50% of my hearing at the same time as I'm losing my eyesight. Now, luckily, it's all stabilized. That's the way it's been now for the last 2.5 years. It has been exactly the same, nothing has changed. It is a little bit cyclic, meaning that some days I hear a little better than others, and some days I actually do see just a little better than others. When I say see, basically that just means there's more light that comes in. It's brighter. So it is a little cyclic, but basically it's stabilized and stayed that way, the way it is. I also have muscle weakness, as we talked about. Most people have a difference between right and left arms or right and left legs. If you go to a gym and you lift, you can generally lift a little bit more with your right than your left if you're right-handed. If you're left-handed, it's the opposite. My difference is between 40 and 100 pounds between right and left arm. It's a huge difference. Okay? And then total muscle failure. And that's exactly what it is. It's failure. There are days that I cannot get out of bed. Not that I don't want to, not that I don't have a desire to. I cannot. The function is not there. That mitochondrial DNA stopped working. The best way for me to describe this is think of it like a light switch to a light. If the light switch is turned on, the power gets to the light works. If you turn the light switch off, the power is still there, it just didn't get to the light. That's what happens within my body. My brain, they call them rolling blackouts. My brain just shuts off the power to certain parts of my body, and they won't work. It's gone. And then, they turn it back on sometime. Sometimes it's days, sometimes it's weeks. Just depends. But there's nothing I can do about that. It's what it is. It's the way the disorder works. There is no cure. There's no treatment. And it is terminal. It will kill me. One day, my heart is going to stop. That cardiomyopathy is going to stop. It's a weak heart. It's going to give up. It's going to quit. One day, I'm going to have the stroke that's going to shut me down. I'm going to die. We're all going to die, right? Life is terminal. Nobody gets out of this alive. We all die. The only difference is, I know it's coming. I have been told this is what's going to happen. We all know that one day we're going to die. But you're not looking down the barrel of a gun every single day. That's what this did for me. I went from knowing that someday I was going to die to knowing that I may not wake up tomorrow. I actually could die right here on this stage. That'd be kind of cool, wouldn't it? And I'll be like, that was the best speaker we ever had. He just died right in the middle of it. It can happen. And that's what I live with every day. Some of my closest friends have been around me now, and all of a sudden, bam, heart attack. And they just look at me like, what just happened? I'm just like, hang on for a minute. I'll either die or it'll go away. And up till right now, they go away. That's the stuff I have to live with every day. That's me. That's what I do. That's my life. So, when Scott first asked me, when Scott first asked me to come talk, I said, well, what do you want me to talk about? He said, I don't know, anything you want, go ahead. Anything I want? He said, yeah, anything you want. I trust you? Don't trust me. So I thought about it, and I thought, what actually could I talk to a group of people like this? I don't know anything about Assessors. I don't know anything about what you guys do. But I do know something that affects everybody's life. I do know things that everybody has to deal with on a daily basis. So what I decided is that I am going to talk to you today about why popsicles melt. Right? The thermodynamics of the sun's rays on frozen objects. Everybody wants to know why, right? No, that's not what I'm going to talk about. So I decided that let's talk about things that we all do. So I thought, what about the word try? We all say try. I'll try. I'll try and do this. I'll try and get there. What does try mean? Try means you're not going to. Try denotes failure. In your mind, the way your mind works, if you say, I will try, it means you're not going to do it. In Empire Strikes Back, you notice, and if you do not know if you don't know the movie Empire Strikes Back, we should not be in the same room together. It should not be happening. But in Empire Strikes Back, Yoda said, no, there is no try. Do or do not. Because if you say try, it means you're not going to make it. You're not going to do it. You don't want to. Then I thought about it for a minute, and I thought most people already know this. Most people understand the concept of the word try. So, let's not talk about try. So I know one. Let's talk about hope. Hope. Because that's what we all have, right? Hope. You know how many times I've been told, man, I hope this goes away. I hope they find a cure. What people don't understand is hope is just as negative a word as try. Think about the word hope. When do you use it in a sentence? That's exactly how you say it. Man, I hope I get that promotion. I hope my kid passes that test. I hope he gets accepted into that college. I hope. What are you doing? You're telling yourself, in case this doesn't happen, I'm going to be ready for it. By saying the word hope, hope is not a positive word. It is negative. It is a negative word. And in your mind, it tells you, just in case this goes bad, because we are assuming it is going to go bad, I'm going to be prepared for it. I'm going to be ready. So we use the word hope the same way. And I thought about it again. And I said, you know what? Let's not talk about just negative words. We're going to talk about the word if. I-F. 2 letters. One of the smallest words in the English language, if. How many of you use the word if every single day in your life? All of you, right? It's very common. If is used in almost every sentence we use. If is a very, very popular word. The problem is we use if the exact same way. We use it as a question. I would say things like, you know, if I wasn't blind, maybe I could do more with my grandkids. If I wasn't blind, maybe I could have kept my therapy business going. If I wasn't blind. If. We use it as a negative thing. If I didn't have this heart condition. If I could only drive. Man, if I could drive, I wouldn't have to rely on people to take me everywhere all the time. If I could drive, I wouldn't have to sit at home waiting to get to the store to get some things that I need. Or to a doctor's appointment or a dentist appointment. Yeah. We do the same thing. It becomes such a negative word for us. We start thinking that if these things. Then we start thinking, yeah, but what if? What if we decide to do it anyway? And that's the next problem. If becomes what if? Whoops, went too far. I saw movement. That's okay. It becomes what if. What if I actually try something and I fail? What if I go and try this and I die? What if it's the last thing I ever do? What if? And that creates another dilemma for us. It becomes negative. We start thinking it as an absolute negative thing. What if? Well, what if it's the last thing I ever do? Well, I'm going to challenge each and every one of you in this room right now to stop saying what if. And when you do say what if, because we will, we're going to learn how to fix that. Change it, rearrange it. So from now on, it's no longer what if. It is no longer a question. The word if is a great word. It can be used in a very negative manner. So no longer what if. This is Yosemite National Park in California. If you have never in your life been to Yosemite National Park, put it on your bucket list. Yosemite National Park is one of the most beautiful places on this planet. I have spent months at this place and still haven't, before I lost my eyesight, still haven't seen everything that can be seen. I still visit it. It's amazingly beautiful. Now, I love Yellowstone. Yellowstone's beautiful as well, and it's closer. But there are things in Yosemite that just do not compare. You cannot describe. It is an absolute wonder and joy to be there. I highly recommend Yosemite National Park. The picture that you're looking at right here is what's known as Glacier Point. I am standing on the ground in what's called Curry Village taking a picture of Glacier Point. Now I want you to remember this is in California, right? The top of Glacier Point is over 7,000 feet in elevation. California is 0. It starts at sea level. You start at absolute sea level and you gain over 7,000 feet, making it to the top of this overlook, this Glacier Point. To give you a perspective, right now here in Layton, you're at about 4,400 feet, 4,300 feet. And the peak, Farmington Peak, is just over 10. So it's pretty close to the same elevation from here to the top of the peak, except for that is a sheer cliff. That sheer cliff face is 3,200 feet tall. To give you an idea of what 3,200 feet is, 3.5 Empire State Buildings will fit on top of each other in front of that cliff. 3.5 Empire State Buildings. 3,200 feet drop, straight down. It's a great view, beautiful. So we go here and we climb up, or we actually drive up to the top of this view. And you look down onto where I'm standing right now. Now there are 3 vistas on the top of Glacier Point that you can see. This is my mom and dad. They're standing at one of those vistas, looking out over a thing they call Half Dome. Half Dome is also another really big attraction in Yosemite National Park. So it looks out across Half Dome, and if you look, it's kind of a general sloping, it's a big canyon, but yeah, it goes out, you see Half Dome in the background. Off to their right, the other vista looks over the waterfalls, and you can look over Utah and Vernal Falls, and you can see those. And a lot of times bears will be walking around down in there, a lot of stuff. It's beautiful. But it's the same type of vista. It's like this. It just looks out over the valleys for a long ways. And I mean a long way. My mom is petrified of heights. And I mean petrified. Scared to death of heights. I take her up here to Glacier Point. We're up on top. These 2 vistas, she's fine with. As you can see, big smile. It's great. Right? So I said, Mom, I've seen this before. We'll let Dad and my wife, they can go over and they can look off the big cliff that I showed you the picture of a minute ago. And I'll just sit here with you right here over there by this bench. You don't have to go over there. My dad and my wife go over and they look off this big cliff and they're looking around and it's just beautiful. You can see forever. It's beautiful. You can see the waterfalls, you can see Yosemite Falls, which are they're gigantic, they're huge. You're a mile and a half away and you can hear the water coming off those falls. They're a mile and a half away. It's massive. Awesome. And as we're sitting there, my mom looks at me and she said, you know what? I want to go see that. I want to go look. And I could hear the fear in her voice. And I said, you don't have to, it's fine, it's okay. And she goes, no, I want to do this. I said, are you sure? So I'm just going to hold on to you, and we're going to walk over there because I want to see this view. And I said, okay. And she grabs onto my arm, and we start walking towards this overlook, this cliff. And as we get about 10 feet from the edge, and as the blood is running down my arm and off my fingers from my mom's grip, I said, Mom, are you sure you want to do this? And she said, yeah, I'm sure. Let's do this. And she's crying at this point. There are tears running down her face, and she is crying. And I said, Mom, we don't. She said, no, we're going to do this. And she started walking forward again. And we walked up to that ledge. And this is what you see. That is a picture. I held my camera right over the ledge and took a picture. The green grassy area that you see in there, that's where I was standing when I took the picture a minute ago that showed you the cliff face. I was standing in that grassy area. If you look directly down, straight down that cliff, in the green trees, you'll see a bunch of little white dots. All those little white dots are the rooftops to the cabins of Curry Village. Each one of those cabins are between 5,000 and 9,000 square feet. You see the size of those dots? If you look up into the upper corner, you're going to see a little roadway. That is a 4-lane roadway. That roadway is as wide as I-15. This is what it looks like when you're looking down 3,200 feet instead of up 3,200 feet. It looks like that. And my mom stood right there and looked and cried. And we stood her there, and I held on to her, and we took pictures of my mom standing next to this cliff. And then we took pictures of them from an angle so you could see we were literally next to this cliff. And my mom had done this so we could show the family that she had conquered this. That she had done this thing that had scared her so badly that she had tears running down her face. She could barely breathe. And as we walked away from this cliff, I said to my mom, I said, Mom, I am so proud of you. That is amazing. I've never been so proud of you in all of my life. And she said to me, I was not going to die knowing that I did not see that. I was not going to let my fear take away that beauty. What if? Her whole what if. What if this collapses? What if I fall off? What if I have a heart attack and die? What if? She changed the what ifs to even if. We can change if. We can change the negative and make it a positive. We can take the what if. We can take the if I could, if I couldn't, all of those things, and we can say even if. My mom taught me, even if it's the last thing I do, I'm going to go do this. When this happened to me, when I started shutting down, I can't lie to you, I shut down too. I sat on the couch for about 6 months thinking, I'm done. I don't even want to live anymore. This was the hardest thing I've ever had to go through in my life. My entire life, I have said, I could lose a limb, I could have cancer, I could get all these, I could work through any of that. I cannot lose my vision. As well. Lost my vision. Let's see what you do now. And I said, now what? If. What if it is the last thing I ever do? Well, even if it is, I'm going to have fun doing it. I don't know about you guys, but that's the way I want to be. I don't want what ifs. If you do not in your life change the what ifs, if you do not look at that word if, and if you do not change what if, you're going to end up with if only. If only I would have tried. If only I would have conquered that fear. If only. My mom was not going to leave with if onlys. I don't know about you guys, but I don't want to be on my deathbed here whenever it happens saying, if only I would have. If only. Whatever. That what if is negative, even if, as a statement, becomes positive. It's not like try and hope. This word can be absolutely motivating and positive. Even if, no matter what, even if. I'm going to do this because I'm not going to spend my life saying, if only. If only. I don't know about you guys. That's enough for me. So, even if, no matter what you do, whenever you catch yourself saying, well, what if? Or if I could only see. If it wasn't cold outside, I could go play with my grandkids. If I didn't hurt, I could go mow the lawn. If I, whatever. You know what? Even if. Even if. I have challenges every day as a disabled person, and especially with my disability, because people do not see it. Right now, most of you are looking at me saying, you're not lying, or you don't have these issues or problems. I hide it very, very well. I don't want people to know. I taught myself to look at people. I've only been blind for a couple of years, and believe it or not, this gives me a ton of anxiety to actually look out across this, because I really don't know how many people are here or what you're doing. You could be making faces at me. That would be awesome. That would be, I'll be out there. I wouldn't know. Okay? It gives me anxiety. But I understand how important it is for people to have eye contact. Because if I don't look at you, or if my eyes are closed when we talk, that makes you uncomfortable. Think about it. That makes you uncomfortable. So I have changed my ways to keep you comfortable so that we can interact. I have learned to look at people. People say, how do you do that? I said, it's actually pretty simple. You listen for them to talk. Their eyes are 2 inches above their mouth. Pretty simple. I looked at people my entire life, so I'm used to it. I just listen for you to talk, and then I will look at you. I'm not always correct, I will be honest. I don't always catch your eyes, but I get as close as I can. I get as close as I can. I've taught myself these things because even if it's uncomfortable for me, I want it to be comfortable for you. So with this whole thing, with this whole disorder, the other thing that next thing I want to leave with you is this. Please do not punish your kids for being curious. I'm guilty of that. My children, as they were growing up, they would say something or do something that I would look at and go, ooh, that could be offensive. You shouldn't say that. You should not talk to that person. You should not. And what happens is those kids grow up afraid of people like me. I did not realize this until this happened to me. I'm walking through a store one day. And as I'm walking through the store, a little boy comes up and starts talking to me, asking me what my cane was for. Immediately his mom starts apologizing to me and disciplining him at the same time. You don't do that. That is rude. I stopped her. And I said, wait a minute. He's curious. He wants to know. He doesn't have a cane. Why do I have one? Hello? I'm the big blind elephant in the middle of this room. I get it. It's okay. And I took a few minutes and I explained it to him. And I had him hold it. And I had him tap the ground. And we tapped the little shelves. And we tapped boxes. And I had him understand there's a difference in each one of those feelings and sound. And that's how I see. And he walked away grateful. He's like, oh. Hopefully mom did too. One other experience, I was in a grocery store, in fact, and one of my things that I'm told right now, the biggest thing that I get told right now is just wait here. That's like, oh, drives me crazy, but I get it. It's easier to just wait here than try and navigate the blind guy through a crowded grocery store. So I end up standing at the end of some aisle, just waiting for whoever it is to come back with my groceries. As I'm standing there and I'm waiting, I hear two little footprints come up to me, little patter patter. Now it's harder for me to look at children because I don't know exactly where they are. But they're used to not being looked at by people, by adults, believe it or not. So they didn't pick up on it, but I tried. There was a little girl and a little boy. And from the sound of them, the little girl was older and she was the one that was in charge. And she said, Mister, we have a question. And I said, go ahead. What can I do for you? She said, my brother and I are wondering if... And that's all I heard. With the noise inside of the store and her quiet little voice, I didn't hear her. So I knelt down. I got down to their level. And I said, I'm sorry. I did not hear you. Could you repeat that, please? And even quieter now, because now she's feeling even more self-conscious, she says, my brother and I are wondering if you are Daredevil. All right, I'm a blind guy. That was the coolest thing I've ever been asked in my life. I'm also a therapist, and I understand Daredevil is a comic book fictitious hero, and I do not want to cause these children to believe in some way that Daredevil can be real. So I tried very hard at how am I going to formulate this and explain it to them so that I don't hurt their feelings and so that they understand that Daredevil is not real. So I looked him right in the face, and I said, yes, yes I am. And I could feel the joy in them because it was radiated by me too. I'm like, this is the coolest thing I've ever had happen. And I just held my finger up to my lips and I said, our secret. And I heard them run away. And that was like the best day of my life. I'd only been blind like a couple of weeks. It was the coolest thing I've ever had happen. Don't discipline or punish your kids for being curious. Let them. Teach them that it's okay, but also teach them proper ways of asking questions. Teach them that they need to grow up knowing that it's okay to be around people like me. That it's okay to have disabled people around them. You don't have to feel uncomfortable. You don't have to feel like they are different. Where is it? Where am I? I don't even know. Oh, there we are. If you notice, there's orange letters on that screen so I can see when something happens. If I leave you with nothing else, if you pick up nothing else from what we've talked about today, that right there is what I hope all of you can understand. When life doesn't go as planned, and it never does. I had my plans in life. Do you think this was part of my plans? Go blind, have muscle failure, have all of these other things that I have to deal with. Do you think that was part of my life? No. Part of my plan? No. But when life doesn't go as planned, make new plans. I had two choices. Sit on a couch, be angry, and throw my shoes at people, or learn to live like this. There isn't a cure, there isn't a treatment. I live like this. This is my life now. This is my new plan. I don't go around looking for new treatments. I don't look for things that are going to help me. I look for things that I am going to love and enjoy doing, like I am now. Life is what we make it. Life is what we choose it to be. This is my book. Why Not Me? Choosing to be positive in the face of adversity. And yes, it is a choice. And I chose to be positive. I chose to make light of it. I chose to use my humor to help people through it as well. Choosing to be positive in the face of adversity. I have these with me if you're interested in any of them. I'll be up here, sitting out here at the table. They're $15. I can sign them for you if you would like. Cash, cards, checks, wampum, whatever. Whatever you got, we can make a deal with it. But I have a few out here with me. If you're interested, you can come out and pick up a copy of my book. I would appreciate it. If you do pick up a copy of my book, the only thing I would ask is please, would you do a review for me on like Amazon and Barnes & Noble and those things? You just have to log on and go to my book and just do a review. Good, bad, or otherwise, that's up to you. I'm not going to tell you how to review the book. The reviews just help with that international publishing and sales that I have. So I would just ask if you would do that. Other than that, thank you guys very much for having me here today. I hope you guys learned something and that you understand that life is what you make it. Thank you guys very much.